All right, this part 2 of this video, which is what you're watching now, is only for practice from the homework. I'm going to pick evens around the odds that you have to do for homework. So I'll tell you what they are before I begin them. If you want to pause the video, work out the even number in place of an odd number for homework, I'm fine with that. You don't turn your homework into me for a grade anyway. So my hope and goal for you is that when you finish this lesson, you know how to find a hypotenuse or a leg length or the actual perimeter of a triangle, okay? So if you want to just do the problems I'm doing and count that as your work for the day, as long as at the end you understand, you don't have to go back and do more odd numbers unless your co-teacher tells you to. Let her help you make a judgment about if you're ready to be done with 11.3 or not. You do have a quiz tomorrow where you will have to find leg lengths, approximate square roots to the nearest tenth, find perimeters of triangles. So make sure you understand all these concepts. They all go together, 11.1, 2, and 3. But you really have to master it to do well on that quiz tomorrow. Okay, so I am going to start by I'm going to work backwards so that I don't run out of time. And I'm actually going to do number 18 with you at the bottom. You might not be ready for this. If you want to listen to the first part, my direction, and then pause it and try to solve it, that might be a good idea. But the reason I'm starting down there is because there's a few steps that you have to do to complete the problem. You should be able to find, if I'm going to do number 18, and so you will see that they give you the length of B and C. So what you're trying to find is the length of A, a leg length, and you know how to do that. So if you want to stop, work that part out, you can. But then it says to find the perimeter, and we have not done one of those yet. So I'm going to also show you how to find the perimeter, which is just adding all the sides. So once you find A, then you would add it to B and C to get the perimeter. But this is how that is done. And I'm not going to draw a triangle because you're not given one. You're just given information for B and C's length. So I know that I am looking for A. So in my equation, I'm going to plug in what I know. And I know that 11 squared is 121. And I know that 13 squared is 169. So I'm going to isolate my variable, get it alone by subtracting the constant. And I find that it is A squared is 48, not a perfect square. On the low side, I have 6, and on the high side, I have 7. So it's going to be very close to 7, all right? So I'm going to start with 6.9 because one more whole number and I would be at 49, okay? So 9 times 9, 81. This is 54, so that would be 62. Another 54 and 41. And that brings me to within, well, I guess that's as close as I can get because I can't go, I'm getting to 48. So I'm only 39 hundredths away. So I'm going to approximate the leg length of A to be, at 6.9. And then we have to find the perimeter. So I'm going to have to add 11 and 13 to the leg length that A was. And I get 30.9 inches. Okay, that's how you find perimeter of a triangle. All right, I'm going to do number 17 with you because it's a little bit tricky. There's a little nuance to the answer that I think you might miss. So if you want to pause it, work that out, and then come back. But because when you get to that final answer, I think you're going to be slightly confused. All right, so plugging in what I know, we are again looking for A. So I have A squared plus 1.5 squared. You'll remember from the first video, I know 15 squared is 225. So I just need to stick my decimal point in there, okay? Equals, and I know that 25 squared is 625. So again, I'm going to pop my decimal in there. I'm going to now subtract my constant so that a squared will be alone. And that just becomes a 4, okay? So, well, we got an easy one there, okay? A is going to be 2. To find the perimeter, I'm going to add it to B and C. So I have 1.5, 2.5, and a 4. And that makes my perimeter an 8. And the answer in the book is 6 millimeters. So we need to figure out where I went wrong. I've worked it out before, so let me check and see what my mistake was. Okay, I went back and checked all my math, and you probably already knew what my mistake was, but I didn't finish my problem. I said that the leg length of A was 4. But that's this a squared. So I didn't finish. The square root of 4 is 2. So I should have added a 2 here, which gives me the answer of 6. So I got puzzled because I have this note on here of when I worked it out before. So I must have done something wrong before. That actually was an easy one. So maybe you solved it and sat through my tutorial on it and was like, no, don't put a 4 there. So hopefully you caught my mistake before I did. If you did, good job. You really are understanding this well. All right, let's jump back to 16. Just do one more of these perimeters. This time we are solving for B. So I know that A squared is 5 squared, so that'll be 25. Plus, we don't know B. Equals, and C squared would be 169. I kind of feel like we've already done this one. Okay, so moving my constant out of the way gives me 144. Oh, you got another easy one. So hopefully you're solving these before you look at the answer. And then you won't have to do so many odds. Okay, so I'm going to now add the length of B to 5 and 13 to get my perimeter. And that would come to 30 centimeters. And that is how, whoops, need a little C in there. That's how you do number 16. Okay, I'm going to jump up on the page 590 and tell you, I'm not going to solve 11. If you choose to solve 11, this might be one where you end up being 1/10 off. I kind of got to a place, I would have picked a 10th off. So remember that I have told you that is acceptable and would be acceptable on the quiz tomorrow as well. I am going to work number 9 with you. And in this one, we only have to find one of the leg lengths. I'll call it A. So we're going to do A squared plus B is going to be 1.6 squared. And I do not have a cheat sheet, so I'm going to work out 16 squared. So equals, I'll come back to that in a second, 9. All right, so 16 squared is 2.5, well, 1.6 it squared is 2.56. Which I need to move to the other side. And here you get a little practice with subtracting decimals. So I'm going to have this equation, and I need to figure out the square root of 6 and 44/100. Now, this is a little bit tricky because we're not used to such large numbers. So it will take a little trial and error. I can tell you that number 11 won't take the trial and error. The number is not so high. And that's probably why I did not assign number 9. But since we're into this, I'll just go ahead and finish it. Okay, so something I need to figure out a low and a high for 644. I'm going to ignore my decimal for just a minute. So I know that 25 squared is 625. So this would be on a cheat sheet. I'll put 625 over here. But I am going to have to figure out what 26 squared is so I know how close to get. So that would be this. 676. Okay, so I'm going to pick 25 or 2 point is how we're going to end up doing this. 2.5. Oh, I can't do 2. Oh, this is getting trickier because now you have to get into the hundredths place. I'm kind of wishing I didn't do this one with you. All right, I'm going to pick 25, and keep ignoring my decimal so it will seem more similar. 25.5. We'll just do that. All right, and let's see what happens. $649.75. Okay, I am going to jump down because I didn't get as close as I wanted. And again, this is harder than the ones you have to do, so it is not going to offend me. I won't even know. If I were you, I would stop. I would fast forward or something because you don't really need to know this, but I'm not going to quit. That would be embarrassing. So I'm going to try to finish this. And I'm talking while doing it, so I'm probably making all kinds of errors. Let's see. That brought me up to what's going to end up being 6.45. Okay, so I would approximate A at 2.54. Okay, and let me look over here at my answer. I think it looks like, what was I doing? 19? No, was I doing 19? Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Sorry. I think I was doing number 10. And yes, and the answer in the book is 2.5. So they rounded differently than I did. I did all this work and only had to get to 25. So there you go. Aren't you glad I didn't assign number 10 and number 9 as well? I have a feeling that's going to be very hard. All right, so number 11 is not as difficult. That's why I did assign that one to you. Let me look up here. I don't think you would have any troubles with 3, 5, and 7. And it looks like you do not even have to approximate in number 5, but you do have that decimal issue. So I hope you understood that part. It looks like 3 and 7 do have to be approximated to the nearest tenth. All right, so I will end the video here. Probably most of you have signed off already anyway. If you have any questions about the Pythagorean theorem, please let me know. Shoot me an email. But your quiz will be up late tonight and all day tomorrow for you to take.